Good morning or evening, folks. It's Dementes Viking, and today we will be talking about another vehicle related topic. This time, not a part of a vehicle itself, but instead the equipment for the most important organs for our body, maybe next to eyes when driving. Those are hands. And talking about the driving gloves, so to say. Yeah, driving gloves you may have seen in different movies. The one that comes up in my mind is the Transporter with Jason Statham, and he has, I believe, very slick and thin leather glove, the full hand coverage without any kind of attachments to it. And also this is probably the most often and very frequent design for the gloves, and you can see them. This is the style of the Hitman glove. Maybe you have seen the Agent 47's preferred glove, which is also opened here, and it is again fully covering the fingers. These types of gloves are often related or often regarded as the titular glove for driving. But in my case, I have a different approach, and my designs are fingerless tactical gloves, these kinds. Now, this is the awesome seller from Amazon. I have brought, this is the second pair already. I will link it down into the description, of course. They are quite cheap as well. As I have done a small research on the Amazon browsing, they are quite affordable, $14. They come in different colors, but I prefer this beige version due to the tactical look of it than, for example, the black one. But if you prefer to go with a more stealth type of tactics, you should prefer black, because this color, for example, contrasts quite a bit with the black on the knuckles, and shows from the far that this is tactical gloves. So in many countries, in many situations, this can be off-putting for some people, unless you have very motorcycle related gear. But if you're walking menacingly in a street in I don't know, like 36 degrees Celsius weather, with a shirt on, nothing else but these gloves, and maybe a pipe in the hand, then it can be problematic. But for me, personally, I really like this color, and that's why I choose it instead of the black. Also, again, I love this seller because many different gloves you can see on the market. Some of them can be not very ergonomic. These ones I find very ergonomic. And also I like the fact that not only in the insider part you can see this fake but still leather type of texture, but there is the leather here as well. So it gives it a kind of a very luxurious look to it. And again, this is the second version I have already bought. What was the problem? Why did I have to choose the second version? Over time, when you put it on, you take it off, and these straps, this attachment point Velcro comes loose, and it is very hard for them to attach to itself. But this is not the biggest problem. My biggest problem was the wear and tear on the inner portion of the glove, specifically the right side, because I'm a right hand dominant. I oftentimes use my right hand for the wheel holding, and because my cars have the right hand support, even in the situations when I'm cruising without the hand on the top like this, but on the underneath right like this, the hand is supported, and probably this is the most often the most frequent way I am driving, the hand supported on the support elbow, and holding the wheel with the right hand. So because of the fact that my right hand gets used a lot on the interior on the wheel, that's why this leather got cracked and damaged. they had very sharp edges on themselves, instead of these very soft and nice ones. And I was also afraid for the grip becoming compromised in that situation, and also the cracks and bits damaging the wheel itself on the vehicle. So I just changed the roll for the gloves, and now I have new ones for my new vehicle. Okay, so what do I mean by changing the rolls? I really like these gloves because of this multitude of rolls you can have them with. My first versions of these gloves now go to my e-bike. On the e-bike I have plastic handles with very pronounced ditches and protrusions, thus the grip is no problemo there, so there is no problem that my right insider layer is damaged, because it still grips quite neatly. There is probably no material that will have a problem gripping that protruding jagged teeth of the e-bike's handles. So I switched my first gloves for the e-bike. This will be used in the vehicle. And also I have previously purchased from different seller a different type of this glove, which had not leather but cloth here. Little different it was as well, but the design was the same, and it is very worn out, probably because of my abusive use of it. I was using it in the camping type of scenarios, like holding branches, like holding trees together while sawing it with another hand, like snapping twigs before starting fires and stuff. So the inner part gets so damaged that this layer got completely off from that gloves. Again, different seller than this one, and also this part got damaged, and I had to go with a hot glue and create artificial liner like this, very thin hot glue, which was etched by me in the cloth, and they are doing quite nicely. And of course the top part is again scratchless in that version. Before diving into why I like this gloves idea, I wanted to talk about the benefits of these protruding knuckle guards. They are quite neat at protecting your hand, right? They are for bike riders mostly, tactical gloves. Yes, they can be used as the knuckle guards for punching as well, but I'm very afraid that these protrusions, which are for breathing here, and also can be used as the layer to cover your hand if it hits the moving asphalt or something like this, it not to get scratched and diced. But in the punch and direct strike, I believe it can create a pressure point on which even a bone can get cracked or maybe even broken. I don't know, I haven't really got into it, but you can always go and remove them with pliers or something and have a smooth fingers. But again, the knuckle guards. Okay, so why do you need gloves at all? Like 10 minutes in the video, I haven't even explained it. If you want to wear gloves, then you know your reason. For me, the first pragmatic and practical reason was the weather. In my country, the winters are quite cold, not as cold as in, I don't know, Alaska, but still, it can get below 0 degrees Celsius, which is below 32, I believe, on Fahrenheit scale, which is a lame scale. Okay. And in the morning especially, it is very miserable. You get in the vehicle, everything is cold, you start the vehicle up, it takes time for the air in the conditioner to get warm, and then if the air is warm, it takes additional portion of time for the interior to get equalized with the temperature, and the wheel is cold as hell. So like for half an hour or so, depending on the weather conditions, you can be gripping ice, it can be like gripping an ice. And also I use these gloves in the cold weather as simple gloves for cold weather, right? I don't know if you have this condition or not, but for me, maybe it is related to my hobbies and lifestyle choices that I sculpt. I often use my hands to craft things. Maybe they get damaged, I don't know, but in the cold weather the back of my hands get dry and cracked, and if I squeeze it like this from this grooves, as you can see, not grooves but what to call it, scales, where there are different bits of the skin, the cracks develop, and when you squeeze it like this, they open up, it hurts, maybe even blood can come out. It's nasty, horrible, it is very rough, it's like a sandpaper as well. Yeah, horrible feeling. So these gloves really solved that issue for me. If it is winter, I often use these gloves for walking, no problem there, and driving as well. So I put it on in the house, then go into the vehicle and come out of the vehicle, go into the work, and then these gloves come off. And one problem with this design, unfortunately, is the fact that if you wear it, let's wear it actually. 10 minutes in the video, I haven't even put the gloves on. So if you wear it, unfortunately, it is very easy to like tighten, as you can see. And again, of course, if this Velcro comes loose, you can always replace it with a decent skills if you have them, or get it to the tailor and they will do it for you. And also you can just go without them. Over time the glove shape will mold to your hand and it will be much more ergonomic. Now it is still very stiff because I haven't worn it. This is new ones again, I only put it on a couple times for different takes of this video. So they are quite stiff and it is awkward, but over time they will feel like a glove. So what was my problem I was explaining? Yeah, if you try to put them in the pockets of your jacket, of your coat, the rubber bits can catch onto the surface of the pocket, and it is very awkward to put them in the pocket. Also, it is very awkward to put clothing on and off with the gloves on, because again these rubber bits catch them. So yeah, it can be very annoying if you put the gloves the last and take them off the first. It's not a problem for the clothing exchange part, of course. Yeah, now again, to reiterate, the first reason of my choosing gloves at all is the weather conditions, and in the winter they offer a decent protection, especially for the back of my hand, and also protection inside the vehicle. Before the vehicle heats up, I can always use this portion of my fingers to stick it onto the steering wheel and have a comfortable ride before the steering wheel gets warm as well, and I can fully utilize my fingers. I do not even notice this transition and simply feel that with gloves driving feels much more comfortable than without them, despite the gloves having no fingers. Okay, so maybe now I will transition into why do I choose fingerless gloves. Well, for obvious reasons, the agility, right? I do really like the feelings in my fingers, again, because I use my hands often in crafts and things. Maybe it is a bigger priority for me than for you. It might be different, I'm just saying. But for me, the feeling of bare fingers is very important, where I can very easily locate and precisely push the buttons in the vehicle itself, feel more confident that I will not mess up a very sharp turn in high speeds if something comes up on the road or stuff like that. And also they are very decent while handling the touch screens. There are gloves with fingers, but with a special layer on the finger pouches, which will help you click the touch screen on your vehicle infotainment system, but still I just like my fingers more. Also, I do use this type of gloves in my bushcrafting things as well. Again, they are hybrid. They provide the ruggedness and the defense against twigs and sharp corners of the twigs, but also they provide the finesse for you to maybe catch a fire, not catch a fire, but to start a fire, or maybe twig, maybe cut something, some twigs and stakes, feel something, and so on and so forth. Yes, so the first reason again was the cold weather. You can still wear them in the summer, depending on your situation and how well do you like the feel of it. Also, one extra point, I do really like the fingerless situation because of my confidence in grip. Oftentimes the hands can get dry, and dry hands without any moisture in the oil are very slippery, especially on the wooden handles, on wooden wheels of the vehicles. So the texture on the new or decently worn glove like this offers a decent and constant traction on those type of wheels, so you can acclimate to it and utilize this constant measure, and will get used to, and it becomes very comfortable as the time goes on. You feel much more comfortable holding the wheel like that. In the beginning, it will be very awkward to operate the wheel in one-handed fashion, like turning like this with this pillow, I don't know, of your hand, when you are doing like these motions, right? Touching the wheel with this part. It can be awkward, but over time you will get used to it. And again, to reiterate, now I have two different traction points. I can always use my fingers, clutch the wheel strongly, and also rely on the constant traction on the inner portions, inner pillows of the wheel, which grips quite decently, especially on rubber type of textures on the wheels. Okay, let's go over. I have other arguments to make besides the cold weather. Now, the second argument, and probably the most important, at least it should be most important, maybe less practical but still, is the protection itself. It can offer you from collisions. The same reason why bikers are wearing gloves. Maybe you have seen the racetrack drivers, like Dakar race drivers, also are wearing gloves. For them, they have different purpose. They are also not fingerless, but fingered and even fireproof. But the technique and at least the portion of the designation is similar. They are for protecting hands. Hands are very important tools if you have emergency. Maybe you have an accident and some stray object, some metal part or glass or something comes in through the windshield. It can very easily cut your hand and get you damaged there. Depending on the severity of the cut, the nerves can be cut there. And if you are most of the time, if you are holding the wheels like this, the most protected part is also facing the danger. Oftentimes, if you have hands like this, most often they are below the wheel, so they are much more hidden and tucked in from the damage of outside objects. So if you're holding wheels like this, the knuckle parts, and also of course the glove itself, the cloth itself, protects you from shards of glass, objects, cuts, and it can save your life in emergency. Maybe your hands nerves get damaged, you can't clutch anything with your hands, then it will be very hard for you to get out of the vehicle. Maybe you simply get a small cut, then the blood itself can make everything very slippery, and again make the evacuation of the vehicle more difficult, I wanted to say. So they protect your hands in case of I should say accidents. The third reason is also protection, but against individuals. We all know that saying that you shouldn't get out of the vehicle in the road rage type of scenario, but let's say that you have to because you need to protect your loved ones, there's an emergency, your friend is under hits or whatever. Let's say you have to get out. Oftentimes, if you have some kind of object in your vehicle, like a baseball bat or any other defensive tool, besides pepper spray, because I do think that the best thing you can have In that type of scenario is the pepper spray. You might not have it. It might be illegal or hard to get or whatever, or out of ammo. You can have these gloves, and they can protect your knuckles from swings of bats even, right? If you get hit in the hand while someone swings something to you, of course the instinct is oftentimes to like cover like this with your whole arm. If you get hit like here, it can break your fingers or something like this, and this can protect it and not turn your hand into a mush, but still give you some kind of extra fuel to keep on fighting and maybe even getting away, taking the weapon away, and so on and so forth. Of course, you are thinking it after the first second of the video, it can be used as decent punching gloves as well. Again, you should think about these parts, which I do not really like, but on this knuckle guards portion, they are awesome. You can feel it very easily. If you hit a wall, you don't even feel it, as these are quite stiff. There are versions of these gloves with metal parts here. I don't know if it is legal at all in your location. There are versions of it with harder plastic instead of this rubber. Again, think of the legality of it. I do really prefer rubber because they cushion things. If you get hit in the plastic part, and if some bit your bone is protruding than others, it can push at it against it, and as it will not deform, the deformation will be taken by the bone. You don't want that, but this is stiff enough to be an outer layer, a shell, and can be decently protective from everything besides like cutting implements like knives and machetes, I don't know. But if you get hit with blunt force, this squishiness of it will distribute the force evenly, and you will get less fractures. So they are quite decent in protecting and hand-to-hand combat type of scenario. So again, why they are good? Because they are on you every time, so it is very easy to just get out of the vehicle and you already have your weapon / defense, maybe a moderate one, but still. Also, they are not very aggravating, right? If the second person comes to you, maybe he is bigger than you, you feel threatened. If you take the like baseball bat out, then it is a fight already, or at least he knows that you are threatening them. But if these are your like driving gloves, and if you get out with the gloves on, it is, in my opinion, much less threatening, and so you have best of both worlds. Like, you get the weapons, at least the moderate ones, defense as well, and the threat level, at least the perceived threat level, is much lower. It will be even lower if you have the stealth version where the whole glove is black. Then it will be tougher for the opponent to notice that it is actually a tactical glove, and maybe you use it as a knuckle dusters scenario type of things. Okay, what else? Yeah, I wanted to cover one more thing, is once it gets out of the commission, as it happened for my previous version, as I have repurposed it for the bike rides, even then, if the inner portion gets even worn more, you can again repurpose them quite easily and turn them into a bushcrafting gloves. They're quite decent again because of this protection. If you're going through bush, thick branches, and so stuff like that, you can just make your hand like this and push through, maybe grab some object behind some very sharp branches, and all these gloves, again with cloth as well, but these rubber parts especially, protect your hands from getting scratched and nasty injuries on the hand with trees and stuff. They're quite protective in that scenarios, and also with the fact that you have access to your fingers, you can still do the everyday job. So they are a decent hybrid for you to have, especially in a very bushy areas, and also if you are gripping something, maybe a walking sticks. Again, they provide the same type of protection in that case, against the weather, against the traction, as it does with the wheel and inside the vehicle. Yeah, probably that's the that's all I wanted to say about this decent, amazing gloves. Hope you liked this 30 minutes essay of why you should wear them. And if you have any objections, if you have any ideas, designs, improvements for the driving gloves and their designs, feel free to write them down into the comment section. One more thing I will add, there are also gloves with these tactical attachments, but they are covered with additional layer of leather on top. So if you look at it from the distance, it's pretty much impossible to say that they are tactical gloves, especially if they are bright in color, unless you take a decent look at the fact that when you have an open hand, the knuckles protrude abnormally on top. Then it is very hard to see that they are tactical gloves as well. I will get all the links to these, especially my favorite gloves, in the description, and to those other designs as well. And you can make your own choice, and also, as they are affiliated links, I might get a simple small tip for my efforts, so to say. Thank you very much for watching. It was one take for 30 minutes, and see you in the next video related to any other topic I make. Bye bye.